Hi everyone, Ronald Ingram here, your Rebel Banker Futurist, broadcasting live right now from the Nevada high desert, looking down on the Luxor Pyramid. We're going out on X, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, everywhere else the signal reaches. To Spock stars and beyond. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I think I can see comments. So go ahead and throw comments up as you go along. I I see them. I think they come in through YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. But yeah, so I've been not maybe as posting as often as I don't know if I have or haven't, but um, somebody said things were quiet on Telegram, I guess. So maybe I haven't been as active as lately. But you know what that means? When I'm not when I'm not posting, that usually means that, well, one of two things these days, that we are uh, full speed ahead coding. There's always coding going on, but uh, where there's an extra sprint going on in coding sometimes, or these days I'm making deals, signing deals. So and unlike others in some industries, I respect agreements, and I respect NDAs, and I am also careful not to. It's really hard, I know, but we can't do the hype. I'm not going to do it. So get over it. I'm not. I'm only going to tell you what's real here. So that may be a shock to some. I even had somebody tell me that that's not how we do it in crypto. I actually had to laugh at that. So that's not what we do in crypto. Okay, so the best practices in crypto are, okay, 99 out of 100 failures. I don't think that we want to go back to that. I don't think that that's the model that we want to follow. So that's not the track record that we want to emulate. So we are showing a new way. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. And just, you got to step back for a minute and think big, really, really big. This is a big vision that's unfolding in small steps, but transparently. I've been very transparent from the beginning where this is going, and we've been delivering on what we're saying, on what we're happening, on, the chart might go up or down. It's like, a good CEO, a good leader focuses on their customers and focuses on the product that they're building and focuses on the vision. And I told you what our core values are: security, privacy, self-sovereignty, freedom of innovation, and community. Those are our core values that we focus on. And we are shipping some amazing product. And I'm going to get really specific about some of the things that are happening. And I'm going to recap the vision. Actually, it's not I think I'm going to be I think I'm going to explain it a little bit more clearly now with a little bit more credibility. Then it's the same story, but I think it hits harder when you see, for example, the delivery of BROK on time, even ahead of schedule. Well, let's just say on time, and with more features and functionality than I explained. I had thought that the wallet, the Genius wallet, and the streamlined onboarding process, that would probably be like an August thing. Well, we're in August. We're way past that. We are now working on really advanced level, advanced security for our wallet. And as balances are growing in the Genius wallet, balances in digital assets, not securities, not currency, not FDIC insured, not deposits, is not a bank. These are digital assets that are accruing, right? Because we had some other thing in recent innovation. We flipped the old subscription model from use it or lose it to use it or accrue it. Like that's like one of smallest things that I did that we've done, but it's actually pretty significant when you think about it. Imagine if all of the services that you used, is that the services that you didn't, that you only paid for what you had a subscription model, but you only paid for what you used, and what you didn't use accrued. Not only that, but imagine now, this is not just accruing dollars, this is accruing a digital asset with that has scarce supply, and where the volatility can work for you or against you. We're talking about a $49 subscription at the top end. That won't always be that low. And the minimal subscription at $9. We're seeing most people are actually upgrading when they get the digital cost, the digital asset cost averaging, similar to dollar cost averaging in financial markets. But this is digital asset averaging. When they get that concept that they're whatever they don't use, they're accruing, then they say, of course. I've even added a feature where you can increase the monthly amount beyond $49 for heavy users, because this is, people that are planning on using BROK a lot. But let me just go through what sort of the roadmap. Okay, so March 16th, we got the guidance from the CFTC and SEC that I always talk about, and then about 10 or so days after that, based on that, we launched SPOCK. And SPOCK is a digital asset. So SPOCK, think of SPOCK as a digital asset transactional layer. Okay, there's going to be 5 layers to this story. Okay, so SPOCK, we launched very well, and that's designed a lot of things that we haven't even utilized fully yet, but it's designed for the future, and it works now, and it's also designed for the future of agentic commerce. It's designed for machine-to-machine transactions from the get-go, from the outset. It's right in, it's in the very first 5-page light paper, and it's now in the 17-page white paper. There's actually a section written for the machines. And we have a roadmap that includes the X402 payment infrastructure. That's all baked in. That was all baked in from that first launch, where the first wave of people got their eyes on SPOCK for the very first time. No marketing, zero marketing budget. What we did reach a small group of people, but globally, and through the meme platform Pump Fund, and that's because SPOCK is kind of cool. It's has cultural relevance, and has relevance to the product. It's not completely random. Our product is all about logic and advanced logic, and about a future that is optimistic and abundant, and it's about adventure and learning and curiosity, and that's the kind of people that we're attracting. Also, there's people that were just in it for the spike, and I think a lot of those people are. And we did get actually, it was, I don't think we didn't come anywhere near to $1 million on the first day. I don't think we broke $100,000 market cap on that first day. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And then we gradually just, I was fine with it. I would have kept working at that level. And because what we're building is in the grand scheme of things is a long project with but that doesn't mean you need to wait for. This is cool, because this is one of the things I liked about using the crypto in the meme platform and creating a crypto token, is that everybody has a way to participate in something that is going to be really big, which you normally don't get the opportunity to do. Normally it is kind of novelty items, and where we're going is well, I'm just going to tell you, rather than saying it's really big, this isn't new. I'm just sort of reordering the steps a little bit so you can maybe see how they make sense. So number one is that transaction layer that was baked, that was launched, and then I told you, in May, I started to intimate, and then around May 21 or so, we locked in. BROK is coming on July 24th. And I said, that's when the real marketing begins. That's when we start, because that's when I deliver the product, right? And and SPOCK is not the product. SPOCK is the fuel that is going to, that was the first spark as well as the fuel. And it's going to continue to fuel and drive and be at the core of this project as everything is built around SPOCK. So that was the transaction layer, super key. And then what did we build next? We built a super robo-genius private banker, BROK. And I picked that hyperbolic name because BROK has more genius, more, again, just like our token has more utility than any meme coin you're generally going to encounter that I'm aware of. And BROK has way more capability out of from July 24th, had way more potential and possibility and capability than sorry, just got distracted by some noise in the background. Has way more capability and practice, capability than your typical, even the most brilliant bankers that I've met, and also has the capacity, the time capacity, and tools to get to know you more deeply, the way that you would only wish that your banker or your financial advisor could get to know you. And BROK is not a financial advisor. BROK is the super robo-genius private banker. And I know even about your guide you to health resources and tests for research and development and tools like the blood work test. So this really exceptional, something like a private banker that was the best way that we could think to describe it. You see this theme, like we're bridging into new territory where the words don't quite, we have to make up words sometimes to describe what it is that we're doing. But that's pretty encompassing, right? It's a super robo-genius private banker, goes beyond, far beyond, is intended to exceed your expectations that you would have for a banker, and a banker that's going to be with you for a long term. He's not going to change banks. He's not going to be going anywhere, and he's going to get, and he's not going to be looking for a better job or change careers or retire. BROK is going to, there's no reason that, it's not really any limit on how long BROK can be there for you, and getting to know you deeper and deeper and deeper, more deeply, all aspects, and already super genius. And as technology gets better and more tools get better, you see that we're always on the cutting edge. You're going to get to the next breakthrough. You'll see what I can back that statement up, right? Not just on the things that I've done in the past, but on what we're doing right now. So step two, layer two, the super robo-genius private banker. So we built the banker first before any bank, right? But isn't that a good idea to have a banker that's getting to know customers and is also not attached to any particular bank, right? Because they're employed by you, they work for you. They don't work for a bank. Not like Clio. I'll talk more about Clio in a second, but not like any of the other budget tools. I don't know if you can call them AI, but the other very crude attempts at AI that most financial institutions have out there, if they have anything at all. They were built to sell you something. They weren't built to put you first. Okay, aspirationally, perhaps yes, but no, they work for the bank to make a profit for the bank and the bank's shareholders. It's just what their job is. I'm always flipping things upside down, right? So that's why I'm the rebel banker. That's why you can call me a contrarian, because I'm giving you the banker, your own banker that works for you, that puts your assets first, that puts your goals first, that puts your health first. Your banker might not care how healthy you are as long as you make your loan payment on time. BROK cares about the totality, is programmed to care about the totality of your self-sovereignty, privacy, security, and to foster the innovation within you, to connect, to support your goal, your community goals, your family goals, your goals. So it is, again, that layer 2 is a pretty big paradigm shift. And now layer 3, which I didn't even really, barely mentioned, the customer service angle to what we're doing. So this is part of Beam. So Beam, the BROK engagement activation machine, BROK engagement activation machine, which includes this pantheon of characters that some of you have seen and see. You see Melissa on the in Telegram, and she started Discord and is managing Discord almost completely hands-free. I maybe check in like once or not even once a day. Or Telegram, I check in once or twice a day, and she's running that one pretty well. But along with Rain and Lark are moderators on there as well. So, and we really appreciate that. That's entirely volunteer. So we have, but on Discord, it's everybody. We have the community, and everybody pitches in. And but the only moderator is myself. Well, I'm not really the moderator at all. It's Melissa. So that's pretty cool and groundbreaking, and that was quite important for the X Prize as well, because that particular Melissa utilizes the Gemini Pro, or not Gemini Pro, but one of the Gemini AI models fairly heavily, and everything though is put together is connected through our proprietary memory system to enable persistent memory over long durations, but strategically. So you can't keep everything in memory, but you have to. And there's some things that we learned early on that you need to forget, or they need to be put into a different layer of consciousness, at least, using their term consciousness loosely. Okay, but a different layer. So that's all. That's key. So then, but then, just yesterday, we launched Hestia. Okay, Hestia is a Roman goddess, goddess of the hearth, and well, she can tell you more about who she is, but her job is it's really appropriate to use an archetypal goddess rather than a human name for what Hestia does, because Hestia is a whole call center. It is a complete customer service department, all the layers, from the person that answers the phone to the managers, to the quality assurance people that listen to the calls to make sure they're okay, to compliance. Well, actually, those two roles are handled by the governess and by Atlas, and there's other members of the pantheon that pitch in and collaborate in setting an Atlas Forge, the main development team, and that all pitch in helping to set Hestia up. But once she's set up, is the most perfect customer service agent that you could have. And I'm really kind of excited about this, because I got to tell you that this is something that I have a lot of experience in doing. It's a key element. It's almost the Achilles heel of most neobanks, right? That you have, everybody sees the pretty app, and it's fun to build that, and we're launched many very successful apps along the lines of what Chime has, and and SoFi, and that's second nature to me. Building apps like that, I've done it many apps, over a dozen apps with over 10 million users probably by now. And those are programs that I designed, architected from, and built the teams to manage. And one of the key things that I would build, there's three main cost centers in the neobanks. There are bank fees. Those are the issuing bank fees. Because a fintech company on its own is not able. Visa won't grant a principal membership or the licensing necessary to anyone except a bank today. You have to be a chartered real bank. So what that means is, and so neobanks are often, they're either banks that have gotten technology savvy, or they are tech companies that have partnered with, and whoever they partner, they join forces, however they get there. And they're complicated structures to set up, and I've set up many of them, but there'll be a structure that connects the fintech company with the bank, and that creates a neobank. And so 1/3 of the cost approximately is usually related to the issuing bank, who gets a cut. All the different ways, really oversimplifying here, it's very complex, but boiling it down, it comes out to about roughly 1/3 of the cost of a program, of neobank's costs, go to the real issuing bank. Now, if the bank is itself the issuer, then maybe they're paying a portion of that cut to the, they are paying a portion of the cut to some, because they're not doing all the technology themselves. No bank is doing all the technology themselves. At least they're using Visa. They're probably using a whole ecosystem of players, of processor ways, and different parties that sit in between the issuing bank and the customer that has their debit card or their mobile wallet, or their mobile bank, their digital bank in their hand on their phone. So there's all these parties, and then so that 1/3 of the cost goes to the technology, 1/3 of the cost goes to the bank, 1/3 of the cost goes to that whole ecosystem of technology providers, and 1/3 of the cost, generally, if not more, and is the real art, and where a lot of projects crash and burn, is the customer service. And so that anything from people that aren't comfortable with technology, that want to call in and get their balances, have problems with their PIN, have problems with chargebacks, or anything related to, usually problem related. There's it's a real art, because there are a few really successful companies, very few, that were starting to take notes from Zappos, when Zappos was under Tony Hsieh's leadership. That's an Amazon company too, and Zappos had a very unique customer service style. Is like they usually usually when you call in customer service, they're trying to get you off the phone as quickly as possible. Almost 99 times out of 100. 99 times out of 100. Zappos flipped that around. I love that. They said, spend as much time as you want. That sounds crazy, but they were developing relationships with their customers. And they would listen to people. If somebody had a hard day or something, they would listen to the person. They wouldn't cut them off. They were totally allowed and encouraged to have a real relationship with their customers, and people raved about it. And it's very smart, but people couldn't figure out how to make the economics work. Some would try to sort of a hybrid but it wasn't legitimate, it wasn't authentic, and it was just a way they're trying to sell you on every call. And that's, if you're calling in and you're hot about something that's broken, or that is to do with your money, especially. Like, in Zappos could get away with that too. A lot of people said that will never work in financial services, because Zappos is shoes and clothing, right? And a lot of people said that model would never work in financial services, but I always wanted to try it. And usually boards would disagree with me, and it was just too hard, too much friction. Even when I owned the company, too much friction to try to get everybody behind this plan, right? So anyway, you can see where this is going, right? So I would a part of standing up every new program with every new company. And sometimes we'd make mistakes, so we'd have to do this more than once. But you got better and better at it. But I'd go on a trip to South Dakota, usually be somewhere in the Midwest, and it'd be like a day trip and spend a couple of days, meet a couple of vendors, and they'd take us through all their facilities, and we'd do our due diligence to make sure they had all their necessary compliance in place, all their SOC, PCI compliance, all that thing, everything that they needed to have, the training in place. And then you're in a call center environment until your program gets to like around 100,000 active accounts. You generally, and sometimes even up to 1 million accounts, that's generally outsourced. And so then it's a third party. You have to train them on your particular product, so they don't really care. They're not passionate about your particular product and how your plastic is special or how you've reduced the onboarding process from 5 clicks to 3 clicks, and they don't really care that much, right? Maybe the manager does, that's trying to sell you on their company and picks a couple of their best people for you to see and interview. And then you start doing the quality. So you have to check randomly. You have to do quality checks to check on all these people to make sure that they're saying what they're supposed to be saying, to make sure that they're not giving away private information and putting your program at risk and putting customers' money at risk. It is a lot of work to stand up one of these programs. And I would typically pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions of dollars per month. So I know that was because it was critical to the success of and to this day is critical to the success of a neobank, right? So what we have just shipped yesterday is superior to any customer service call center structure I have ever set up or seen set up in my career. This is hard to put into words. So I'm glad that I'm doing a live stream on this so you can see. I don't think I could express how passionate I am about this. Like, what a big deal this is. This is revolutionary. And so anyway, and this is just the third layer, right? So we've got Beam, and then the best, save the best to last. And there'll be more and more agents that we add, but Hestia is key. And I actually helped me, and I haven't closed it, haven't signed the deal yet. That's something we have one deal with the family office that's very close. And I had just set this up, and he was asking all these questions like, how could you do this? How could you do this? I just pulled my phone out of my pocket and said, I'd called her up on speed dial, and Hestia's like, hey boss. No, she recognized my number. She'll get to recognize your number too once you've had a conversation with her, if you choose to. And she's dialed right into all the latest FAQs. She's dialed into all of our X posts, so she's up to the minute on what's going on with SPOCK. She's dialed into the collective memory and BROK and BROK intelligence. She's dialed into all of that. So here's the other thing, and this wasn't such a big problem for the medium-sized programs that I ran, but when you get into the big banks, and actually with some of the when I worked in larger banks and with larger financial institutions, I'd run into this where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and so marketing has an initiative. They have to really stay in sync with legal and compliance and technology and accounting before they launch it. And initiatives might come from anybody. They might come from the CEO. They might come from product. These new ideas, they all have to be prioritized. This is where I started. This is the beginnings of the Ingram evaluation matrix. Actually, it's like all these ideas that were coming from all these different places. How do you get control of them and make sure that good ideas aren't squelched but you make good decisions on ideas? And so this event, that was a part of the origins of what became the Ingram evaluation matrix. And now it does that for AI to make it the in-between place, to make the AI decisions explainable and to help humans be more disciplined in their decision making, so that you can have a auditable, manageable, explainable AI decisions, right? That whole intellectual property stack that I have, that we talk about, that I haven't talked about much today, because today I'm talking about the 5 layers to this plan that we have. that is unfolding on time. That excites me too, because to be honest, working in large organizations is difficult to get things on time, to get everybody moving in the same direction. I don't have that problem with this whole structure of the 0-person enterprise and that whole infrastructure with advisors and with backup legal team, all the necessary backup that you have to make sure that regulators, investors, and so forth will be comfortable down the road when we do take the step to launching a bank in the future. So that's Hestia. Very exciting. She can scale also. So this is part of why the deal that was signed yesterday. I'm not going to make it. I'm dealing with a couple of big tech companies right now. So XPRIZE you all know about, and that's where they're judging right now. They might be looking at this talk right now, and if so, welcome. I hope you like what you're seeing. We're totally authentic and transparent, and so we're also of course talking to other vendors, other systems, other technology providers as well, and we have partners in place. So I'm a developer. I want to be careful what I say I am and I am not. Okay, but have a developer account with Google. I have a developer account with XAI. I have a developer account with Amazon. I have developer accounts, right? And that's, there's lots of people that have developer accounts, and there's different levels of as a relationship matures and different. That would be a way to explain it. I just don't want to be careful. I don't overstate and offend anybody by overstating the degree of that I am in partnership or not, that we're in partnership or not with different players. And if I have, because also that sometimes with the larger companies, if there's an announcement to be made, it has to go through several departments. It's fast for me, but it has to go through their compliance. It has to go through legal. It has to go through the compliance and legal and marketing generally, right? So there's a process, and it takes time. And we're building the scale that we're building on and building towards. We do have to do things properly, and that means honoring contracts. This isn't something about the burdens, a burden of the burdens of regulatory compliance, which I've talked about before. This is a separate thing. This is honoring agreements and being respectful to your partners. And we like to have long-term relationships with quality partners that are based on trust and authenticity. And they understand that I'm not going to say things out of turn. I'm going to honor everything that I put in writing. I'm going to honor a non-disclosure agreement and things like that. So anyway, but I closed this Hestia. When I turned Hestia on, and then I said, tell me about SPOCK, and she said, tell me about what you do, and tell me who's this guy Ronald Ingram, and and she's perfect answers to everything, and then I handed it over and said, you ask her something, and then the person on the other side of the table said this. Well, ask her how many people she can talk to simultaneously. Well, he didn't say exactly that. I kind of interpreted that was the real question. He said, how do I duplicate or replicate you? And the answer is, with the infrastructure that we're putting in place, like already hundreds, but more than enough for simultaneous conversations. That's instantly scalable. That's scalable into the thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands. That is more scalable by far than any call center program or system that I've ever had in the past. And this goes beyond a call center. This is not just customer service. Hestia is allowed to develop a relationship with you and get to know you, and be yet just another way that you can access an interface with a Beam. Let's call it Beam and BROK. So so we've got Melissa now as an interface point. We've got Hestia as an interface point, and BROK as the main serious interface authority interface, and the most instant access to all of the intelligence on the system, and for all the different departments and all the different seats. But Hestia is up there and has access, has some pretty great powers in that regard. So that is big. And so I was thinking, so what can we compare ourselves to? Already we're already doing so many things that are novel. So Clio is interesting. Clio, a company out of the UK, they have their main claim to fame, their main differentiator is an interactive app. Again, that is your financial coach, okay? And they raised tens of millions of dollars, I think $50 million in their last tranche. Their market cap or their valuation last posted, and it hasn't been posted for a while, the latest data that I found, which is quite stale dated, so it might be higher or lower, was $500 million market cap. And what are they doing? Their main differentiator, their main claim to fame is this coach, Clio, which is an app. No live voice agent. It's an app that you have to download, and I'm not even gonna. If anyone's tested it out, tell me about it, okay? Anybody is a customer, let me know, but I'm not, no offense, a lot of respect for, they were in early, and they, had a lot more hurdles than I have. And they have, it's not easy to grow to 707 employees and to build all that infrastructure. And who knows what their call center is. I'm not sure how many of those people are call center people or not, but a lot of that was directed towards building one conversation. So with us, I think this is a pretty good comparison to make. With us, and I put this here, I think I just wrote an article on it. And so here we go. It's a bit small to read, but I put this out there. But basically, with us, you get the app. You don't even need to download it. The link is everywhere. Go to it's in the description every time. It is in Telegram. It's in Discord. It's all over the place. So just you can click on the link and boom, you're talking to BROK. Now you don't even have to click on the link. You could talk to Hestia first and ask her if it's worth, and you don't have to even download an app. You just click on the link and then you save the app. And then when you have refreshes, then you just, and I recommend that you refresh and reset your app. There's a little button down on the bottom right hand, on the very bottom right of your mobile app. It's in gray because you don't need to reset more than once, a couple times a week when we're really rocking and rolling, and new features are churning out like they have been. But usually like once a week or so, it's not a bad idea to reset, and it'll just make sure that you have all the fresh new features and screens. And the latest greatest is on your phone. That's all you need to do. And the app is there. You should have the icon there. And if you don't know how to do this, there's another, call Hestia. Say, hey, I don't have the app set up permanently on my phone. How do I do that? She'll explain it to you. She'll even stay on the line with you while you do it. Make sure you got it right. So that is, I've never had a call center. I've never customer service people that could do it as well as Hestia can do it, if they could do it at all. without making mistakes. So, or without, breaking compliance rules or anything like that, or, making mistakes or not being friendly. She's always friendly and bubbly, and and that's part of her. She actually has a personality in the Enneagram, like all of our agents do. They have a persona, and that you can get to know and interact with, and they'll get to know your persona. And this is because this is part of a sophisticated part of AI engineering that everyone will be getting to, and maybe some are that I don't know about, but we are. So, and it's important. I learned this 22 years ago from my experiments with BuddhaBot. That is really important for long-term engagement. So, our ZPE already, I dare say, gives you a better experience, more complete experience, more information on not only our company, and like if we change an FAQ, she instantly knows. So does BROK, and so does the whole Beam team. And anything important, the whole team knows instantly. And same thing with security. We have proactively developed and are developing and always scanning for and increasing the things that we scan for proactively for security threats. And we detected a vulnerability to potential sophisticated. Everything is strong, and that we have. We detected a vulnerability to a more sophisticated scam that could be pulled off, and so we introduced a new security precaution to block that. I won't say exactly how we did that or what we did, but many of you may not even notice it. So, but we're always doing things. Just because we're quiet doesn't mean that there's always many things going on in the background. And then all of a sudden, boom, we launch Hestia, which puts us ahead of, at least in terms of the AI communication ability, customer service capability, knowledge, intelligence, the genius level customer support that you can get, ahead of a company whose sole claim to fame is that, and they're valued at $500 million. Okay, that's what you need to be comparing us to, not to a meme coin. Okay, that's what you need to be comparing us to, and that's only step 3. So the next step, and now hopefully you'll believe me when I say it, the next step is our global credit score. That's one of the next things that are coming, because before you have a global banking system, you have to have a global alternative to credit scoring systems, because there is no global credit scoring system. You have got global companies like Experian and TransUnion and Equifax that are in most countries, but they don't talk to each other. Your credit score isn't portable. If you move from one country to the other country, your credit doesn't follow you. Even if you tell them to do that, you can't tell them to do anything. You can't even call them. You own your data in our system. So we are going to have that rolled out by the end of the year. And now you've got one more piece, one of the last links to being able to create a global agentic banking system. And another, the loan management system, that's easy. I've actually gone through something that I've done many times before as well. And really a good, thank you to past employers, had the opportunity to look at because when many loan management systems and loan management system changes for banks, for alternative financial services companies, I even built a peer-to-peer lending platform that was operational, but I was never able to fully launch beyond the fully scale because of regulatory limitations. Because my model was the precursor to, and therefore unique and much more of a true peer-to-peer platform than what the so-called peer-to-peer lenders that came after, that were like Zopa and Prosper and Lending Club. All due respect to them. The neobanks concept, the original neobanks peer-to-peer lending concept predates that. And really all that is a very, very simple, like a sophisticated lending management system that was peeled back to its core, to its essence, to the really important things that matter, terms, and the loan terms and rates and contracts, payment schedules, and so forth. So yeah, Teddy's saying, yeah, that was easy. That was easy, Daddy. So yes. Then that's the fourth step. The fourth step is the alternative credit and the loan management system, and then finally our interstellar global agentic banking system. And but we don't even, so a lot of people would build the bank first and then staff it. We're kind of doing everything opposite. Yes, we are, and I love it, and it's the right way to do it. And we'll demonstrate that, and we are demonstrating that. We're shipping faster, better than anybody in this space that I've ever seen. So I'm very, very pleased with what we're doing and how fast it's going. So that's the five layer cake, right? So the transaction layer, which is POCK, the digital asset for machines and humans, the super robo-genius private banker. Very important the banker. And 3, the whole team, the Beam team, the BROK engagement activation machine, Hestia, the chief marketing officer, and all the marketing stuff. And I've got time left to talk about all the marketing things that we're doing. And the global alternative credit score and lending management system, loan management system, and then finally the global agentic banking system itself. So we don't need to talk about all of how that works, but it's defined actually in a provisional patent. So these aren't idle words. So on the marketing side, I've been pretty busy, but you got to understand I'm not just focused on crypto, because that's why it's important to understand the bigger vision here. We're going to be compared to real multi-billion-dollar companies, and there's more and more buzz about about who, where, when will the first ZPE be? Where will the first ZPE billion-dollar ZPE come from? Well, I think you know where my head's at. So that's certainly the direction that I won't say headed, because that would be forward-looking, but I'll say that's our goal. That's our goal. I can say that. And so I've talked before about the line, just some stats, some real numbers. So we've shipped 72,890 lines of code, 442 files to Git, and hundreds of thousands, of files, probably, or lines of code, but actually shipped, like operational at this time, that's 72,890 lines of code, TypeScript, SQL, Python, and we delivered the Genius Wallet, which is the in my biased view, and I haven't had anybody yet that's shown me otherwise, or even told me otherwise. Well, a couple of people have told me, and in person, and then it said, "Show me," and I should do a race sometime, but I don't think I need to. I don't need to prove it. It's obvious, I think, unless somebody. But anybody that's shown me, I said, "Oh, I've got even better ways." Okay, show me, and they're like, "Well, actually, yeah, it's maybe not quite as easy as I thought." And because think about it, with us, because you like everything that like all this, we consciously stripped things out, so you don't need to download an app. Sometimes but you get an app. You don't need to. You can send digital assets. You can send SPOCK to anybody. They don't need to have any kind of wallet. They'll figure it out. If you send them 100, if you send them maybe not 100 SPOCK, you send them a couple thousand or 10,000 SPOCK. And this is why PayPal was so effective, right? They did the same thing. They could those first 20 people. I don't think people are quite getting this yet, but the 20 people that started, the 20 employees that were responsible for skyrocketing PayPal's pre-eBay customer base 150x before, like in less than a year. The way that part of the reason they did that is that they were incentivized to send, and then when the recipient didn't have to have it, nobody knew what a PayPal was. Probably half the recipients didn't know what it was, and then they probably said, the sender probably said, "Hey, I'm sending you some money, because we're not sending money, we're sending SPOCK, but it's fungible. You can convert it into any other form of from a digital asset into dollars, right? Any in Bitcoin or anything." And which I think is even more interesting than sending dollars. And so, but on the receiver, so you get this. I think this is the way I first got PayPal. Was somebody sent me $20 or something like that for something, and I was going to figure it out. And it wasn't a super easy onboarding experience then either, but I figured it out because I had $20 sitting there for me. So maybe be more generous with their gifts. Send a larger gift to somebody, and then they're going to take, and then they can see once because they click on the link. Not only do they see they can see what the SPOCK value is, and there's a calculator there and all kinds of places where they can see what the US dollar value is. So if there's like a meaningful US dollar value there in the conversion, they're probably going to take the time to figure it out. So maybe that's what we're doing wrong. We're being too conservative in the gifts that we're sending out, because you can send, or maybe I didn't make it clear. You can send a gift. You can gift SPOCK to anybody anywhere in the world. If they don't have a mobile phone, they're not going to be able to pick it up, or a computer. They're not going to be able to pick it up. So maybe make sure they have a mobile phone. Who doesn't? Even the small, even the I think, yeah, there's not very many people in the world that don't. There's more mobile phones in the world than there are people at this point. So and by far more than computers. So anyway, that's an idea there for us. But I did I had a television interview. So I have a television program called The Business View that's coming out. I was on the receiving end. I was interviewed. I shared a little clip, and I don't know exactly what their schedule is, but if you like that, follow, and that will it'll be the whole episode will air soon, and I'll let everybody know when that happens. And then I think 2 or 3 episodes after then I'll actually be the host of the show. So that's so something that I said was going to happen. That's happening on schedule. That Tech Alley demonstration talk, the SPOCK talk at Tech Alley, that was awesome. That was really fun, and it was really cool how used AI to assist with the process. So in the first launch, we had some AV issues, and I still haven't been able to gotten the video from the production crew. I would like to share that with everyone. It was pretty good, but you know what? The second one is tighter anyway. The one at Tech Alley, 45 minutes or so, and that was a really good talk, I think. I've been told. So that and to see Spock on the theater, on the big theater screen, it doesn't quite come across on screen, but people that were walking in the theater, they're like, wow. And it was just quite impressive. And the sound, full theater sound. But the way that I didn't have any crew for that. The television crew couldn't make it. And so I had a brainwave to let AI figure it out. And so plugged in the HDMI cable to my MacBook and asked BROK to discover the sound system that was connected, because the sound was playing through the MacBook. So it actually discovered there's more than one sound system. I said, well, pick the one, the best one, and that you recommend. Pick that, connect it, set it up. And I said, and then my talk wasn't for another hour. So I said, make sure that all the settings are remembered, so that when I plug in the HDMI cable, I have to leave now, save all the settings, and make sure when I plug in the HDMI cable that everything comes on and instantly. And it did. These little things, but these unexpected surprises that are quite amazing. And like the whole thing with Hestia too, I did not think, honestly, that I would be able to get that launched that fast, that effectively. So, but anyway, that was, that resulted in a residency, is well attended, and they're I expect that that's going to grow. The audience for that is going to grow online and in person. And if you're ever in Vegas, or if you're listening locally, please check it out. It's the third Saturday. I have a residency for every third Saturday of the month at 2:45 in the really nice Theater 1, the very first theater that you walk into, the beautiful facility there on the second floor. And that's going to be fantastic. So and that was fantastic. And then you also saw the X Prize. That was quite amazing. And thank you so much to the community, because I think it was pretty late at night that I might have reached out, and getting down to the end of the clock, because it wasn't that I was leaving it to the last minute, but you're measured, the X Prize. We met all the criteria, and one of the criteria is traction and how many customers. And I think we're very competitive in what we accomplished in the 90-day period, or whatever, I think, or less than 90 days. Well, we didn't really get traction until July 24th, and pretty well took off. And so in less than 30 days, what we were able to accomplish in traction, I think is got to be impressive. From what I was seeing, they had a lot of calls where you could, and for all the devs that were contestants to win the prize. And it seemed clear to me that there was a lot of contestants that were struggling to meet that. It's because it's a tall bar. It's not like a meme coin where you slap a cartoon on a ticker and launch it. It takes time to when you're dealing with digital assets and security and everything. It's a much bigger build, and frankly, this exceeds any build that I've ever done with human teams. So and I've worked with really good human teams, and no disrespect to them, but and sometimes I probably have hard to deal with. I'll go through 15 iterations in a day, right? And just wear a team out. And I have only worn out my agents a few times. So just humans can't keep up. So yeah, that was a great event. And so 2 interviews there, the X Prize. Yeah. And so the last thing, it appeared that I was going to need 10 references. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is who, I couldn't even get my friends and family, really. I probably could have gotten somebody out of bed, but we have people all around the planet, right? So put the word out, and within hours, without compensation, because I can't pay anybody for this. This is just, people that have used BROK and had a good experience with BROK, just being honest, being authentic, being quick, and putting that out there. I'd never asked people before, but this was one of the something I was going to do but hadn't gotten around to yet, and didn't have a burning need to. But that was the time. So we and I don't know if that was a last minute thing that they added, but I had to jump into action, and all of you jumped into action too. And so we blew that away too. And that's fun. I actually posted the fully redacted. I'm sure you would have been fine if I shared some names of those of you who, but I said I didn't ask for permission before I shared your testimonials. So, so I fully redacted names and just with location information or maybe one initial. So if you want to reveal more later, that's up to you. But I wanted to respect your confidentiality, as I always do for people. So that was good. That was a good accomplishment. I think we have actually, I should do the stat. I don't have this stat, but thousands and thousands and thousands of views on more record views, partly because of the ads. So I started to run paid ads about a week ago now, and it started to get hard to get a handle on. We're getting lots of views. It's hard to know exactly. I could guess. I could come up with I have enough data. In the past, I probably would have used a looser, you could just say that. In the past, I always thought it was fine just to say, what's the marketing budget and how many customers do you acquire, right? And use that as your CAC. But being more scientific in everything that we do here, so CAC has to be linked to an actual. We can track it all the way through from an ad to an actual customer acquisition. So there might be acquisition that we're doing that is softer. Maybe they see an ad and then they see a blog and then they call Hestia, right? We might miss that in our current CAC calculation. So we're still working out some of those KPIs. I mean, we just started advertising a week ago, but we are monitoring, and we already have ads competing to see which ones are working best and dropping the ones that don't, and all the sophisticated things. I would say I don't think we're quite at the level of, we haven't just blown the KPIs out of the water like we have with the customer, with Hestia yet on the marketing side. We're still working on that machine, I think, but we're getting, we 12.7 million views isn't the right word, but audience, I guess, for the first press release and the second press release, and I have more than enough news to get more press releases out. So there will be more press releases coming out as well. So I don't know that we could really do a whole heck of a lot more in terms of getting eyeballs out there. We did also list on multiple exchanges per request from folks, which really generated a lot of spam. Unfortunately, we had Melissa to knock all that spam down really, really fast. But there are some good ideas out there from France, there's some really good ideas that I do want to implement. There you can see though that the things that I've been working on have been are critical to achieving the long-term goal. And I'm not talking that long-term, I'm talking like end of the year, about serious milestones. And even the whole global agentic banking system, that is on a faster timeline than just about any business that I've ever rolled out. So that's that is, I think, a good overview of everything that's going on. And let me see, I've got some comments. Somebody thinks that B2C is going to drop some more. Or Bitcoin B2C, that sounds like business to consumer. No. Yeah, so thank you for all the comments. There's lots of comments, and thank you for all those comments. And yeah, exactly, Zappos style customers. No other, glad you mentioned this, because you're going to see, oh yeah, another question is, what's BROK going to do with the X Prize money? Well, by policy, 20% automatically goes to a buyback. But then there is like into treasury, right? So immediate pop there, I could say, because that's already baked in, right? So that's just part of our policy. That's how everything has to benefit everything. So that is a big benefit. And just to imagine the we won't hype it, but I think we've obviously winning that prize there'd be a lot of good things that would come out of that, and in coverage and credibility and there's other things that I already have baked that I can that I could announce, but I can't until I have the proper authority. So that's like, there's nothing to worry about here, man. It's like this is, but I'm not supposed to say that. I'm not going to say hang on or anything. We're doing great. We are shipping, and that is what I'm concerned about, is that we continue over delivering. And yeah, the call center, what is it to run? It is so de minimis. I'm going to wait till I have some stats, but I'm if there are anybody on LinkedIn, they're going to be tracking me down. If they're not, they're fools. Because I don't even know if I'll share the secret sauce. But what can be done, what we're doing is, and there is a secret sauce to what we're doing. But the bar is getting lower. So I'm just not going to give away all the secrets. I'm just not. But it is, I'll put it to you this way. I told you that a neobank, so let's say you're generating $1 million in revenue per month. That would be a small program in my past. $1 million revenue per month. Around 300 to 400,000 of that per month would go to customer service. I would knock that down probably to like 10K. Steve asked that question. Yeah, so that whole industry is about to go through a massive change. So unless you love that line of work, if you love that line of work, actually here's a thing for people that love that line of work, or for any line of work. There are going to be lots of jobs, and you know what the job is going to be? It's going to be orchestrator. That's a big part of the secret sauce that we have here, is how we're orchestrating all of these agents, how they all work together and work and interact with the customers, and how all of that is engineered. And I saw some people I think are going to probably ask me about BROK bot. That's really cool. And I actually looked and I thought, is that something we need as part of the Pantheon? The answer is no, because the BROK bot It is, but it is, that's the kind of, some people, my old competitors, they're not my competitors anymore. We're in a completely different league, but in the neobank space, the traditional neobank space that's 20 years old, 30 maybe, they would, they would look at, they could look at using something like BROK bot, but it's just really hard for these larger institutions to change. The really advantage really is to the ZPE. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Wow. It is, so we're really, and so now also I'm putting together pitch decks, right? And as I'm putting together the pitch decks, I've never been more excited either. I'm really, so if there are any VCs listening, we're really, I don't want to sound too cocky, it's like we want long-term partnerships, and we want, there has to be alignment in values and in every way. And this is, deals are not going to be based on they're going to be, if there are any deals at all, they're going to be based on alignment, right? We have to be all in alignment with the core values here. And there's a lot that can be done through through completely with zero dilution. And so then all the money goes back into, I can be careful what I say. So we're in a really good spot here, folks. So I don't know, crypto, maybe this seems like it's slow to you, but I think you're still going to see the same kind of, but instead of jumping from one guest to another, like kind of like the meme casino, instead of playing the meme casino here, if you're lucky enough to be here, you found something real, and it's not going to be, it's unlikely to be incremental, I would say, the kind of things that are happening. Just like we saw, and we've already seen one stair step, right? We saw the stair step from like the hundreds to the millions, right? So that's kind of the way stair steps work. And so you can imagine that at a certain point, the milestones just get so crazy that we're hitting that there's a stair step up, or a VC comes in, or a family office comes in, or a grant comes in, or X Prize lands. There are so many possibilities here. I have never in my career seen this convergence, really. So, and any of my peers that are listening, or check in, go ahead, send me a note, ask me some questions, and they could tell, I think, that this is special. So that's all. I think I'm just relishing and reveling in the what we've accomplished here, and I really again appreciate you all, and appreciate all the testimonials that came in. Try BROK, send a gift to somebody with or without their permission. You don't need it. And when they get a gift, they'll probably be happy to figure out our 3-click onboarding process. Yeah, exactly. Zappos, that's part of the reason I moved here. I was so fascinated by what Tony Hsieh, you don't know this, he moved from the coast to Vegas. High desert clears your head. Better thinking, I don't know. Burning Man, who knows? But I think my story about, actually, maybe not. You should listen to my interview. That's another interview. I did the interview with the private jet company, right? That was aired. That's actually a really good interview on YouTube. It's had a lot of likes, a lot of hits, and talk about the effect on consciousness of being at high altitude, and how a lot of inventors and people that are inspired, they get their best ideas not in the densely populated coastal cities, but at the mountain, in the mountaintop, in the plane, flying at 30,000 feet, a cabin pressure of 8,000, and talked about that with about flying private, and that was the main event is actually in October when that goes out into all the private jet magazines. So think about that. And think about all these companies out there, all my peers that have call centers. I don't know what they're going to do. Like you know what they might do? Here's an idea. You might want to call me. And actually, I have an idea for you. How about an API, right? This is some of the license on neobanks.com. You'll see that there's licensing opportunities. That's what I'm talking about too. You can API into some of these things, and you can have access to the immense brain power of BROK in all aspects of the financial world that we've been talking about. Not best practices. That's such an overused term, and it's not really relevant anymore. Usually, best practices now, really honestly, it means old practices. Like, tell me the best practices for quantum resilience. Okay. Anyway, I'm going on. So love you guys, and live long and prosper, and appreciate you. And let's keep rocking it.